All right. Welcome, beautiful souls, to another episode of the Wake Up Level Up Soar Show. I'm your host, Serene Enigma, your companion in unraveling life's enigmas. And today we delve into the intricate dance with toxicity. Oh, yes, toxic behavior and those oh so charming toxic people. But first, let me hit you with this. Picture it. You're walking through the garden of life and suddenly you step on a thorn. Ouch, right? Toxic people can be those thorns. But before you start plotting their early demise, let's explore the pros and cons of dealing with toxic behavior. Because just as much as toxic behavior can hurt you, it can heal you too and propel you to new heights. It's all in the way you look at things. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like life handed you a puzzle and you're trying to solve it while wearing a blindfold? That's what dealing with toxicity and toxic people can feel like. But buckle up because today we're taking off that blindfold and we're diving into the heart of the toxic tango and how you can harness the power of toxicity instead of letting it drain the power out of you. Now, toxicity is more than just a buzzword. It's a subtle force that can infiltrate various aspects of our lives. Excuse me. But before we plunge into these depths, let's ponder this. Can you recall a specific instance where toxic behavior left a lasting imprint on your life? If so, type your response in the chat field or comments below. I'd love to hear about it. But moving right along, toxicity can be like a slow burning fire, consuming everything in its path. And that's why understanding its nuances is crucial, which leads us to the toxic landscape. Navigating life with toxic people is like traversing a rugged terrain. So let's dissect the pros and cons of dealing with that toxic behavior, shall we? Because it's essential to acknowledge that while toxicity can be detrimental, it can also serve as a mirror, reflecting areas within ourselves that need attention. And here's how. We all know how dealing with toxicity and toxic people can hinder our growth. Most of us have experienced these painful awakenings through the emotional toll that it takes on us, while others might be more familiar with the stagnation that it causes or those feelings of being stuck. And then there's the effects that toxicity has on our relationships. All of these things hinder our development and self growth on so many levels. I'm talking personally, spiritually, professionally. And if all of those things are simultaneously out of whack, it's just a sad day in paradise all around. That is, of course, unless you can make yourself aware of the ways that toxicity and toxic people can help you, turning that negative into a positive and learning to use it to soar. Now, let's consider the untapped potential that is toxicity that most of us had no clue was there. When most of us think of toxicity and toxic people, we automatically recall those examples that I stated from earlier. But I bet that most of you weren't aware that toxicity could actually be helpful. And one of those ways is by being a catalyst for our personal growth. Yes, you heard me correctly. Dealing with toxic behavior can serve as a catalyst for personal growth. That's because it pushes us to reassess our values, set boundaries, and do all of those things and develop resilience. All of this contributing to a clearer understanding of our life purpose and higher selves. It also challenges us to develop coping mechanisms, adapt to challenging situations, and enhance our problem solving skills. This can be beneficial for personal, spiritual, and career growth. And the good part is, these skills are transferable to various aspects of life, contributing to healthier relationships and a more aligned pursuit of one's life purpose. Now, I want you to consider a toxic relationship that you've had. What were the positive and negative impacts on your personal growth in that relationship? Take a moment and think about that and note that Toxicity, while it's not a one size fits all, some toxic relationships can push you to evolve, challenging you to set boundaries and prioritize self care. And again, it's essential to acknowledge that while toxicity can be detrimental, it can also serve as a mirror, reflecting areas within ourselves that need attention. It's kind of like being stuck in traffic or in a traffic jam. You can either honk and stress, or you can turn up the tunes and enjoy the ride. But dealing with toxic behavior is a nuanced journey with both advantages and drawbacks. While it can be a crucible for personal and spiritual growth, the potential emotional toll and negative impact on relationships should not be underestimated. Now, recognizing the balance between navigating toxicity for growth and safeguarding one's well being is essential for a holistic approach to life purpose, spiritual development, and career progression. So, next, we'll uncover how toxic behavior can either fuel your ambition or leave you stranded in the chaos. But before we do that, I want you to head to our Instagram page at Serene Enigma underscore 1111 and share your thoughts on this poll, which reads, can toxic people catalyze personal growth? What do you think? Yes or no? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
I'm going to give you the simplest way to achieve success in life. You ready? Form good habits. For example, make it a point to take small steps towards your goal every day, and you won't believe the difference this one small change could make.
It's always fascinating for me to see the diverse perspectives on whether toxicity can be a catalyst for personal growth. My take, it's a delicate dance. While toxic relationships can force self-reflection and change, the toll on one's mental well-being should never be overlooked. Now, let's shift our focus to the workplace. Let's talk career. Toxic coworkers, bosses from the Bermuda Triangle. We have all been there, right? But how does this toxic dance impact our professional path? Toxic coworkers and bosses can be career landmines. I'm sure you all know this. But while we're covering this topic, consider these two questions. How have toxic workplace dynamics influenced your career choices or decisions? And here's another good one. Have you ever compromised your values for the sake of your career? Mm-hmm. I know that one hit home for somebody out there. So go ahead, type your response in the chat field or the comments below. I'm interested to know your thoughts on the subject. But we're going to navigate to the corporate jungle right quick and discuss how toxic behavior can either be the fuel to your career rocket or the anchor holding you back. Now, workplace toxicity is an unfortunate reality for many, and it can either fuel your ambition or become a significant obstacle to your professional growth. First, let's cover how toxicity in the workplace can be an obstacle to your professional growth. And we're going to get right into it yet again with the emotional toll that toxicity takes on us. It deteriorates our mental health. If you remember nothing else today, remember that your mental health is key. Do what you can to protect and support it, because mental illness is developed most of these times. So keep that in the back of your mind. But getting back to it, prolonged exposure to toxic workplace environments can negatively impact mental health. Constant stress, fear, or anxiety can hinder focus, creativity, and overall well-being, acting as a significant obstacle to professional growth. And let me tell you, this is not conducive to securing the coin or the bag, honey. So you gotta start reframing the way that you view and handle toxicity. Now, dealing with toxicity also has an impact on performance. It often leads to increased workplace conflicts and distractions. This, in turn, can reduce overall productivity and hinder the successful completion of tasks and projects. Thus, you guessed it, impacting professional growth. Some of you dealing with toxicity in the workplace may also find that it limits innovation and creativity. This is where fear of retribution sets in. Now, toxic work environments may stifle creativity and innovation. And this is because employees may hesitate to voice their ideas or take risks due to fear of retribution. This lack of creative freedom can impede professional growth in industries that value that innovation. And I'm feeling like more higher ups should know about this. So be sure to share this clip with your bosses. Now, let me tell you how toxicity can fuel your ambition and rocket your career. Again, it's all how you look at things, people. So I bet most of you watching this never realized that the wonderful ways that toxicity actually helps us in the workplace. And it's understandable. I was once in a very toxic workplace, and all I could focus on were my frustrations. It wasn't until I began to see things from a different perspective that I was able to shift my energy and make necessary moves. Through having to be in a toxic workplace, I overcame adversity and built resilience. Facing toxicity head on helped me to do that. Learning to manage stress, cope with difficult situations, and persist in the face of challenges are qualities that can propel individuals forward in their professional journey. And I know that it did it for me, so I know that it can do it for you. Having to function in a toxic workplace also afforded me a crash course in skill development. I began to see my frustrations for what they were, which were learning opportunities, because dealing with workplace challenges, including navigating office politics and managing conflicts, can be viewed as valuable learning experiences. And overcoming these obstacles enhances skills such as communication, negotiation, and conflict resolution, all contributing to professional growth. But here's the one thing that I feel like a lot of y'all can relate to. While working in that toxic environment, I also learned adaptability. And I was able to figure out how to navigate complexity without even realizing it. And that's because toxic environments often require us to adapt quickly to changing circumstances. Remember, workplace toxicity's impact on professional growth is complex. And while some people may find motivation and growth opportunities amidst challenges, like myself, others, for others, the negative consequences can be substantial. Recognizing the balance between leveraging toxic environments for personal development and protecting one's well-being is crucial in navigating the complexities of the professional landscape. Coming up, we'll explore how toxic behavior can either be the storm that shapes your spiritual growth or the dark cloud that obscures your path. But before we get into that, if you want to know or find out more about today's topic, follow me on IG at SerenaEnigma_1111. Click the link in my bio and hit the Wake Up Level Up Soar button for more info on my Wake Up Level Up Soar coaching program and course, where I'll teach you to accomplish your goals, realize your dreams, and soar to new heights. Now, let's elevate our discussion to the spiritual realm, if you will. And whilst we do, ponder this. Can toxic energy hinder your soul's journey? Well, let's find out. But let me ask you something first. In your spiritual journey, have you ever encountered a toxic force that tested your beliefs? Or how about this? Have you ever faced a spiritual crisis triggered by a toxic influence? Go ahead and type your response in the chat field or comments below. I can't wait to see them. Keeping it moving though, spirituality often acts as a guiding light, but toxic behaviors can cast shadows, and it's crucial to explore how these dynamics intersect. The impact of toxic influences on spiritual growth are immense, and they range from inner turmoil, which disrupts spiritual harmony, to stagnation and growth, which can prevent you from evolving on your spiritual path, to self-doubt and guilt, which will instill a questioning of your spiritual choices and beliefs. to a lack of inner peace, also, which will contribute to a constant state of restlessness, anxiety, and unease. And trust me, there's more. But if you notice any of these within yourself, start to pay attention to your emotional state. If interactions with certain people consistently lead to feelings of anger, frustration, or sadness, it may be a sign that their influence is affecting your spiritual harmony. If you constantly question your own authenticity or feel guilty about your spiritual practices, it may be a red flag and time for you to have a come to Jesus moment, do some soul searching, and also learn to trust your intuition. If something feels off, or if you sense that certain individuals are negatively impacting your spiritual journey, take the time to reflect on those things and then have the courage to make the necessary changes. Recognizing the impact that toxic influences on spiritual growth involves tuning into your inner self and being mindful of how the external factors influence your spiritual journey. And by staying attuned to your emotions, values, and overall sense of well being, you can proactively address and mitigate the negative impacts of toxicity on your spiritual growth. And with that, it is time for another poll. So head over to our Instagram at Serene Enigma _1111 to cast your vote and join the conversation. So, what say you? Can spirituality shield against toxic influences? Yes or no? Also, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. I can't wait to see them. My take, the interplay between spirituality and toxicity is so intriguing. While spirituality can be a powerful shield, it's essential to acknowledge its limitations. Now, hold on to your hats because we're going to try something new here today. We've got a special guest joining us today by the name of LaShawn, who's going to shed some light on the topic of toxicity. Give me 1 second and I'm going to get him into our room here. Hello, 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 and welcome, LaShawn. How
Hey,
are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Sweet. I'm so good. So tell the people who you are real quick, what you're about, and how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, let's see. My name is LaShawn Knight. I'm a personal bodyguard, also own a security company. First and foremost, it's an honor to be on your show. I
Oh,
appreciate what you do. I love the messages that come forth in your shows. And so it's an honor to be here on today.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and supplying your 2 cents on the matter, sir.
Absolutely.
So, first off, straight out the gate, what is your favorite toxic scenario? Because I know you got one.
My favorite toxic scenario. I'm one of those people that sometimes attract toxicity. I've been in quite a few toxic relationships, both giving and receiving. I'm also one of those. I used to be, excuse me, one of those toxic people that didn't bring much to a relationship. This was, of course, in my earlier years. I was able to learn from those situations. What's my favorite? Um, I got so many stories. I don't want to run over your time. I have quite a few stories.
You can
Um,
give me like one, like one like recap of one, just like a little
okay, again,
summary.
I've had quite a few toxic relationships, and I remember one in particular when I was a child. I couldn't have been more than 15. I'm sorry, 16, 17 years old, and I had this girl who, anytime she couldn't get her way, she used to bang her head into the wall, like, like like really getting it, you know. But it was like the whole relationship. We were so young to be acting that way. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot to that relationship,
I feel you. So
a lot of toxicity.
how did you become aware of the toxicity? Because a lot of people are not even aware when they're being toxic or when other people in their vicinity are exhibiting that toxicity. So how did you become aware?
One way to become aware of toxicity is actually hindsight. Meaning when you're going through it, you don't realize how toxic it is until you're out of it and in a better environment, in a more healthy relationship. Then you can look back and be like, yo, we were really not good for one another.
I
You know, and
feel you.
so that's typically how it happens with me.
Awesome. So I had a couple questions for you.
Okay.
That was awesome though. Yeah, but I had a couple questions just based off what I said here. And I wanted to know your thoughts on it. So let me get
Okay.
my handy dandy note cards.
Let's go for it.
Colorful. Yeah, they're colorful because I'm extra. So give me a sec. All right. So my first question for you, sir. Do you think that toxic behaviors are inherent or are they learned and acquired through experiences?
I believe that toxic behavior is learned and taught through what we observe as well as past experiences. Like I remember seeing a video of a little girl interacting with her father, and she was just a necking and doing her finger like this here. And I'm like, yo, who have been teaching it? Like she's been witnessing like
Right.
some heated arguments amongst her parents. And so
Yeah,
she's just absorbing that. And so if the love that you show a child don't balance out the toxic stuff that they can witness, it's gonna lead for a toxic individual.
I definitely feel you on that. I definitely agree. Definitely.
Yeah, so to answer your question, it's definitely a learned behavior. It's a taught and observed behavior.
So now since you feel like it's learned and taught behavior, how can we as parents, because you have kids too, right?
I do.
I
I
know
do.
that I have them. How can we as parents kind of put a stop on that? Like when we see our kids going down that road, how can we
Mhm.
like stop it and turn it around and keep them from fucking up somebody else's life?
I think balance plays a part. For as much negativity as they see, they have to be able to see and witness positivity. And you have to be able to pour into your kids those positive things, not just the negative ones. Because sometimes we can get so lost in ourselves that we're not aware that we're spewing all this negativity into the atmosphere, and your child is just absorbing it up like a sponge.
You
You
is
know, and so
right.
you have to be cautious about, you have to make a conscious decision to pour in just as much positivity as you do the negative stuff.
Awesome. I love that. And my other question for you was this is a good one. Do you think cutting off toxic ties could ever be perceived as a selfish act? So if you had to cut somebody,
It's going to it's going to be received as a selfish act. It's going to, but your peace of mind is more valuable than that relationship, I promise. And so when you have to cut people off, you have to be the one to stand on that and not go running back to that person, because they're gonna talk about you. They're gonna run your name through the mud. You know, they're gonna talk about where you came from and who you're trying to be now, and say you done forgot your roots. They're gonna say everything that they can possibly think of to you, right? But your mental health is very, very important. And if that person is toxic, you need to cut them off. I encourage everybody to go look up a song on YouTube called Cut Ties by Q Fire or somebody like that. I came across it, but it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song, and basically what it says is, if a person is not trying to receive you for who you are today, fuck them. Cut
okay,
ties.
okay, I love it.
And so I
Fuck
kind of
with
live
it.
by that now, because I've come a long way, and I've traveled down a lot of different avenues to get to where I am now, and I've lost a lot of good friends on the way. And a lot of people don't necessarily agree with my lifestyle or the choices that I've made as a grown up, as an adult, and so I'm not gonna let you hinder me in my own growth, and so I'm gonna cut those ties, and I'm gonna feel good about it.
Okay. I mean, I feel good about it all the time when I do it, every time. But like
Right on.
for the people, I'm just a different breed. But for the people that like do feel like it's selfish and they find it hard to let these people go or to at least just like distance them from their lives and the BS, what type of advice or tips would you give them for that?
Stay true to yourself. Um, your higher self ain't gonna lie to you. It's not gonna steer you away. Your spirit man is not gonna lie to you, not tell you nothing wrong. And so if you feel like you should probably cut that person off to advance in life, don't worry about the backlash that's gonna come with it. Cause you're not one thing you're not gonna do is please people. For
That's
everybody you try to do right by, is going to be some toes that you have to step on, and vice versa. So it's like you're not going to please everybody. Focus on doing right by yourself. Do right by yourself. Do right by the people who you. And even if those people can't get with the decisions that you've made in life, then let them go too. But the advice that I have is stay true to yourself. Do right by yourself.
I love that. I love all of that. Also, I would add like be courageous, like have a little bit of courage
Absolutely.
to put those changes in place and kick those people out, like if they are not being of service to you. It is not a selfish act at all. And I
Right.
do really hope that everyone listening to this at any point will get that. But we are running out of time here. I've enjoyed you. I really did.
Likewise, I appreciate the invite,
Yay.
and it was a pleasure being here with you today.
Oh my gosh. Well, again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today. And you can come back anytime.
I will.
And that is our time today here, folks. But before we go, head on over to our IG at Serena Enigma underscore 1111 and answer this one final poll. And that is, do you believe that toxic people can be mirrors reflecting our own unresolved issues? Yes or no? Cast your vote and leave your comments. And I'll leave you with this. As we unravel the complexities of toxicity, remember your journey is a dance. Choose your partners wisely. Visit serenenigma.com for more insights and resources. And don't forget to join the conversation on IG. And as always, if you want to find out more about today's topic, follow me on IG at serenenigma underscore 1111. Click the link in my bio and hit the Wake Up Level Up Soar button for more info on my Wake Up Level Up Soar coaching program and course, where I will teach you to accomplish your goals, realize your dreams, and soar to new heights. Until next time, stay mindful of your dance, keep evolving, and always soar higher.